Okay, good evening, guys. How are you doing today? Good evening. Hope everyone are doing good. Nice, Aboli. Hi, Madhav. Good, good. All right, so let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? Security groups. So, should we have a quick shootout round? Okay. So, what is a security group? Which is used to secure the EC2 instance. Can we say security group act like a firewall also? So whenever someone asks security group, you can say that security group is used to secure the EC2 instance, that's good, and which stops unauthorized access to the EC2 instance. Very good. And so security groups has two types of rules. What are those? Inbound rule and then outbound rule. Okay. So by default, inbound rules are allowed or deny? Deny. So by default, outbound rules are allowed. Okay. So if I want to log into the Linux EC2 instance, what protocol I need to add to the input? Windows RDP. So is it possible to specifically deny in security group? No, we can only allow it. We can only allow. Very good. And one EC2 instance can have multiple security groups attached. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instance. One security group can be attached to multiple instances. Yes. Okay. And do we have a default security group? So we should be using the default security group in our codes. Yes. Okay. And security groups are stateful or stateless? Stateful. Which one are stateless? NACLs. Which one will hit first? NACLs only. So can we say NACLs is another layer of security to the EC2 instance? Do we have a default NACL? Yes. For the default NACL, inbound rules and outbound rules are allow or deny? Allow. So whenever you create a new NACL, it is allowed or deny? It is deny. Okay. So one subnet is associated to one availability zone. One subnet can be associated to multiple availability zones at the same time? No. One availability zone can have multiple subnets. So one subnet is associated to one NACL. One subnet can be associated to multiple NACLs? No. So one NACL can have multiple subnets? Super. Nice. So in security group, if we allow any inbound rules, do we need to allow that on outbound rules? No. In NACLs? Yes. Is these security groups are which level? Which level? EC2 instance level. NACLs are subnet level. Is it possible to deny in NACL? Answer is yes. So in NACLs, you can specifically deny also. In security group, is it possible to deny? No. In NACLs only you can deny. Super. So weekend doesn't affect it. Huh? No, no. Super. Very good, guys. Just curious, did you revise? No, huh? Super. Nice. So let me share my screen. Can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay, nice. So today let's talk about the topic called auto scaling. What is that? Auto scaling. So what is auto scaling generally? Super. Scale out and then scale in. EC2 instances based on demand, correct? So here, scale out and then scale in EC2 instances based on the demand. Here, scale out meaning adding or removing. Super. And how about scale in meaning? Removing. Removing what? EC2 instances. Removing EC2 instances. So can we say that whenever there is a demand, so automatically EC2 instance will increase and decrease based on the demand, correct? Okay. I'll write all those things. Whenever there is a demand on traffic, auto scaling group will scale out and scale in EC2 instances automatically. Agree? Nice. So let us go with the representation. What is this? Not necessary, Gopi. But if there is no load balancer, scale out, scale in will never happen. So we have EC2 instances. 2, 3. Let's take, I have 4 EC2 instances. So these are 4 EC2 instances. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me, in all these 4 EC2 instances, we should have a same application or different application? That is redundancy, correct? Same application. And this is ELB. So ELB is distributing the traffic to the EC2 instances. Tell me, ELB will be doing the monitoring for the EC2 instances or for the application? For the application. Very good. So ELB does, how does it monitor? Using ELB does health checks to the application. And who will do the monitoring for EC2 instances? Which service is that? CloudWatch. What is that? CloudWatch. CloudWatch will monitor the EC2 instances. Nice. Now tell me, whenever you're setting up a new application, initially you need to have EC2 instances, correct? All of a sudden scale out, scale will happen? No, right? Initially you need to have EC2 instances. How many EC2 instances are there? For example, there 4 are there. So whenever there is a demand in the traffic, automatically multiple EC2 instances will get launched automatically. Scale out will happen. Yes or no? Whenever the scale out is happening, does it contain automatically the application also? Yes, it contains the application. So whenever there is a demand, auto scaling group, so will scale out, this is called auto scaling group. So automatically it scale out and scale in based on the demand. So now on Friday it got scaled out, but on Saturday do you need these many machines? No. When what will happen? It will automatically scale in. Automatically scale in. Very good. So now tell me, for all these EC2 instances, is it good to have same EC2 instance types or different? Same or different? Same, no? So let's consider this is 4 GB RAM. So all your EC2 instance should contain this 4 GB RAM only. It's good, no? Because load balancing is happening there, correct? So if one of the EC2 instance has 32 GB RAM, for example, only this will give good performance, correct? And rest will be, they will feel a little bit slow. So it's always good to have a same instance type. Now, scale out will happen. Scale out happens. And scaling happens automatically. Okay. Now I just told you we have three things here: minimum, maximum, and desired capacity. What is that? Minimum, maximum, and desired capacity. What are that? Desired capacity. DC, you call it as DC. So now you want to set up an application. Initially, you need to have the number of EC2 instances, correct? How much do you need? Based on your requirement, correct? If how many people are getting connected, based on that, you need to have number of EC2 instances. That is nothing but desire capacity. Desire. What is desire? Your wish. Your wish. How many EC2 instances that you need to launch initially? It's your wish. Based on the requirement, you need to launch. How many based on the requirement? How many I'm launching it here? Let's say 4 I'm launching it. How many, Chitte? 4. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. What is my desired capacity now? DC is equal to 4. Initially, I will launch these machines now. Now, I have set minimum as 2 and maximum as 6, for example. I'm just giving an example. Now, how many machines are there? 4. And now, there is a huge traffic comes in and automatically will get scale out. How many has happened now? How many is there now? 5. So again, load has increased. One more. How many is now? 6. Is it possible to have one more EC2 instance? No. Why? The maximum has reached. Maximum 6. Now you understood what is maximum? So if when the scaling out is happening, how many maximum EC2 instances you need to have in the group is called maximum. So you cannot keep on increasing, no? No. So you need to set the border. You need to set the border. In your auto scaling groups, I'm putting 6. Maybe if you have a requirement, you put 60 also. 20, 30, 40, 10, your wish based on your requirement. So now there is no traffic at all. Scaling will happen. How many are there now? 5 are there. Again, scaling has happened. 4. Scaling happened. Scaling happened. Scaling will happen now? No, because the minimum is 2. So that is your minimum. So if the load is also very low, that will not go below the minimum. So minimum is your border and maximum is your border. Minimum, maximum. In between you have desired capacity. So desired capacity will get changed. Desired capacity, initially you put 4. Now how many are there? 2 only. So that will get changed completely. So desired capacity meaning at the time of launching your setup, how many machines that you need initially, that is called desired capacity. Minimum, maximums are boundaries. Is it mandatory to keep only 2 and 6? No, it's up to you. Right? It's up to you. Is it clear? Minimum, maximum, desired capacity. So minimum, maximum, and desired capacity. So I'll write the minimum here. So the minimum number of EC2 instances that auto scaling group should have. Example, minimum how much? I put 2. And maximum also. The maximum number of EC2 instances that auto scaling group should have. Example, maximum I put 6. What is desired capacity? Yes. So the number of EC2 instances that you wish or desire to launch initially, that is called desired capacity. Is it clear? Minimum, maximum, desired capacity, ma? Super. So now after this, we have 3 types of scaling options. 3 types of scaling. How many types of options are 3 types of scaling options? So these are, can we leave maximum out? Is it possible to leave default? No. You need to mention that is mandatory value. So minimum, desired capacity, maximum are mandatory values. So you have to put some number. You cannot leave it maximum. And also, can you tell me, is it good? Now, we don't know what demand can be, right? See, that is the AWS engineer should analyze it. You cannot be simply blind. Okay. So now, let's say, for example, Naresh IT is conducting one exam. As an AWS engineer, can't you guess the number of people? That is capacity planning. You cannot simply, if the management come and say, can you set up auto scaling? Can you say, I don't know? No, you cannot say, right? So you need to, let's put 400, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000. You need to have the capacity planning. That is called capacity planning. Okay. Yes, this maximum and minimum can be changed anytime. So now we have, that is what I'll come here. We call it as manual scaling, and schedule scaling and dynamic scaling. What are the 3 options you have? Manual scaling, schedule scaling. Tell me, these are certification questions. Manual, schedule, and dynamic. So what is manual? Manual meaning if you are manually modifying minimum, maximum desired capacities. Let's say in our example, how much is the desired capacity? 4. Can I go and edit my auto scaling group and change the 4 to 5? Yes. So if you change 4 to 5, what will happen? One more EC2 instance will get launched. So if you are going and modifying this manually, that is called manual scaling. Can you go and modify maximum also? Can you go and modify minimum also? You can edit and modify anytime. That is called manual scaling. So if you are manually modifying minimum, maximum, and desired capacity, is called manual scaling. What is schedule scaling? Yes, certain period of time, correct? So on Friday, let's say we have a big sale. So can I schedule it scaling at the time? Yes. On Friday, I need the maximum as 60, desired capacity as 40, minimum as 10. Can I go and schedule it? Yes, you can schedule it. So here, based on the time period or a day, right? That is called manual scaling. And how about how about dynamic scaling? Automatic. So based on the metrics, let's say you have auto scaling group. Can you say that, hey, if your CPU utilization is going greater than 70% for that group, scale out. If the CPU, now the very good thing with the auto scaling is, I still remember when I was doing this, setting up auto scaling few years back, now the AWS has completely changed. Previously, it was starting, right? They have so many options that I need to configure. We used to configure auto scaling group. Now, you don't need to do that. So you create an auto scaling group, you just to tell some information. Boss, keep by the artificial intelligence in the backend of AWS. So it will make sure that your group will contain 60% of average CPU utilization. If it is going more than it, then what will happen? Auto scaling group will go and scale out automatically. If there is no demand, auto scaling group will scale in automatically. So now it is a dynamic scaling. So can I say dynamic scaling is based on the load? Yes. Yes, based on the traffic. Based on the load or traffic. So here, can you use the metrics called CPU metric? Can we use CPU metric, network metric, request count metric, etc. Based on this metrics, we can do the dynamic scaling. So guys, these all metrics will come under CloudWatch. There we'll talk separately. CloudWatch. Okay. Is it clear? 3 types of scaling options. What are the CPU, network, request count? All these called. These are all called metrics. These are all called metrics. Use the word called metrics. Very important. What is that? Everyone say metrics. Metrics. Not matrix. Metrics. Okay. Now question for you. Auto scaling group is doing scale out automatically, correct? Let's say we have 4 EC2 instances. Now scale out has happened. One more EC2 instance got launched. In that EC2 instance, automatically your application will contain? Yes or no? How does the auto scaling will know to put your application, or it has to be a T2 micro or T2 large, or which key pair, which security group, etc., etc. How does it know? So what we need to do is, guys, we need to set up something called launch template. What is that? Launch template. In old, we call, now they have changed as launch template. Before it is called it as launch configuration. Launch template or launch configuration. So how many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? 7 steps are there. What we'll be doing, that 7 steps, we create it as a template. That 7 steps, we create it as a template. And we'll tell auto scaling group, hey, auto scaling group, whenever you're launching the new machine, use this template. What does this template contain? All not only application, all your configuration. Now tell me, your application will sit under which one? Do you remember AMI? So can you create your own AMI with your application inside? Yes or no? Yes. Does it contain only plain OS? Yes. Does it contain your application also? Yes. So keep your application ready in your AMI, and that in launch configuration, give that AMI details. Whenever it is getting launched, automatically your application will also get launched because you have that in AMI. Using that AMI only, EC2 instance will get launched. You understand what is launch template now? So launch template has just only the configuration. What are the configuration that it contains? It contains AMI details. In AMI, can you have your own application? Yes. So you can have your custom AMI or AWS AMI, correct? AWS also provide AMIs, correct? What does it contain? It contains what kind of volumes you need, what security group, which instance type, which key pair, what tags, etc. All this information will contain in that template. So using this template, auto scaling groups will go and launch the machines. Got it? So auto scaling group is the combination of your load balancer. You need to have load balancer, no? Without load balancer, can you get the traffic? No. The best way of doing this with the load balancer. You can also set up auto scaling group without load balancer, but is there any of use? At least I haven't used that. Okay, but you have option. So ELB, you have EC2 instances combination plus launch templates. And if you want to send a notification, SMS. So if you want to set up auto scaling group, these are all the things that you need to configure. And as I told you, you just need to tell auto scaling group, keep my auto scaling group CPU utilization, not CPU, average CPU utilization utilization as example 60%. So you just, guys, you just give this information, automatically auto scaling group will take care. So can I say auto scaling group has launch template attached? Yes or no? Yes, that only we'll get to know. Is it clear? Auto scaling group? It's just configuration we need to go. Rest everything will be handled by the AWS. And how do you achieve fault tolerance? Remember fault tolerance? How do you achieve fault tolerance? Zero downtime. Fault tolerance is nothing but zero downtime. How do you achieve zero downtime? Using auto scaling group. So if you have auto scaling group, is there any chance that your application will go down? So if your application need to have a super high availability, you need to configure auto scaling. If something went wrong inside your application, can we do anything? AWS engineers will not do. Who will be the responsible for that? Developers only. Application has to be error free. Then only we can do everything. Is it clear till here, everyone? Understood? Understood, ma? Any questions? Super. So now let's go to another important topic, which is elastic load balancer. Very important. So till now we have learned what is load balancer, elastic load balancer. What is elastic load balancer? First I'll write that. Elastic load balancer, which distribute the traffic to multiple EC2 instances across availability. That you should put it. Across availability zone, you should put it. That is our load balancer. Do you remember we discussed this? ELB is completely managed by? Very good. ELB is completely managed by AWS. ELB is a server or a service? ELB is a service for us, not server. How do we access ELB? Using DNS. ELB can be accessed using DNS name or URL. Now, okay, you want representation first of all. This is our load balancer. And load balancer has EC2 instances. 1, 2, and 3. ELB. And then here we have, can we put application inside it? Yes, without application, it will not work. Let's say I'll put some application, sample application called index.html. So this load balancer will be distributing the traffic to this. On top of it, can I apply auto scaling? On top of it, can I apply auto scaling? Yes. And how does load balancer will do the monitoring for the application? Using health checks. What is the status code that you get? 200. Status code is 200. Status code. Health check status code is 200. So if the health checks is failed, so load balancer will consider the EC2 instance as healthy or unhealthy. So here we have a concept called healthy or unhealthy. If it is healthy, EC2, if it's healthy, load balancer will send the traffic. If it is unhealthy, it will not send. Getting it? Okay. Now, by the way, can you log into the load balancer? No. You can just only access. You cannot log in to the ELB. You can only access. Okay. Now, should I tell you one a real-time scenario that I have faced in my company using the load balancer? Okay. So I worked, there is a company where I was dealing with ships. What is that? You know ships? Titanic ship. Huh? These are ships. Ships meaning same like passenger ship, cruise, oil tankers. So we have ships, on oceans we have ships, big ships. So not submarine. We haven't done with submarine, but ships. Submarine is mostly from the governments, not for passengers. So we have so many ships like this. Do you all agree that ships? Okay, basically what we do as a company, in my company, is we develop some softwares where we will be going in and installing on the ship. And it is like how we have on land, we have GPRS, where you can use similarly on waters also we develops all these things. And then also we use something we call it as voyage. Here with car, we call trip and all, right? There we call it as voyage. So we do voyage optimization, voyage planning. So which is the best route? In big oceans, can you just go chumma, we'll go like this, just like that? No, right? You should have a proper route, from one place to another place. So how does the captain knows the route? Can he go like how we drive from Hyderabad to Bangalore? We cannot drive like that, right? So they will follow the software from how to go, where to go. And also in between, yes, with the help of satellite only. So what we do is we develop all these things with the help of weather companies. We have weather companies where we used to get the weather from the oceans. So we have to know, ship has to, like, you might have some big cyclones, the big tides are coming up. Maybe you might have whirlpools, right? And you might have maybe Bermuda Triangles. So where you cannot take the ship through that particular area. So what we do is we calculate all these things and we give the nice planning. So, and we do all this software, we install it. And I also have I had a chance to go inside the engine room because we used to install all these things. I'm sure that you have never been into the engine rooms. You might be into the ship, but not on the engine rooms. So, you might seen this engine room in Titanic, but you might not have seen engines. Something else you might be watching there. So, how you remember? Nice. So now everyone will go to and watch movie Titanic movie. What is there in engine room? Okay, so you cannot even bear the sound, that much heavy you will have. So anyways, so do you all agree ships also has a network inside it? Yes, ships has a network. How does the ship communicate with through the satellite only? We communicate. What is that? Through the satellite. So all this, so we'll have a satellite here on the top. So using satellite, it will connect. So what we used to do is, I'm the one who set up the entire architecture in my company where we used to collect all the data from the ship. Chitti, if you take one small bike, how much data you get, no? Let's say, for example, what is the data you'll get it from a normal bike? Speed, mileage, whether you have proper air in your tubes or not, how much petrol it is consuming, right? How much weight it has, how much speed it is going. torque, and what else? So engine oil, right? So how many revolutions per second is happening inside, right? And so if you take one small bike itself, you are getting this much huge, so many of data. Just imagine a big ship. We deal with Disney ships also. Lots of data, you get it. So we used to collect this huge data through satellite. It comes to our company. So our company need to have AWS infrastructure. No, that infrastructure is developed by me. So we used to collect the data, take it, analyze it, do the analytics. We do all kind of mathematics, statistics and all. We maintain databases, EC2 instances, load balancer, Lambda functions, everything will be there. So finally, what they do is we will provide one website to the captain. We'll provide one application. Application meaning obviously we need to have a load balancer. So this is the load balancer what I have. CGT. This is the load balancer what I have. And then in backend, I'm just giving an example. Backend EC2 instance will be there. Yes or no? Let's say that application name is boom.com. Okay. This is ELB, EC2 and EC2. My application name is boom.com. If someone is typing from boom.com, all the ships will get connected to my load balancer. Yes or no? Yes or no, ma? It will get connected to the load balancer. Good. Everything is working fine. But consider, just assume one ship, they are not able to connect to my application. And what the captain or the engineers has told me is, boss, in our ship, we have a network and it also contains firewall. What does it contain? Firewall. Oh, that is common natural. Now, if you have network, there will be a firewall. And then the engineer said that firewall, I need to give the IP address of your application. I said that, oh, my application name is boom.com. Whitelist that application name in the firewall. Allow it. Now he said, no, I need the IP address of your application. Is it possible for us to provide IP address for the application? Here application is nothing but here load balancer only, no? Load balancer is completely managed by. Is it possible to get the IP address? But for a customer, he's not a technical guy. He just, Babu, I need IP address. I said that, no, it is not possible because we are using it. Whatever you are using, AWS, WS, whatever it is, I don't know. I don't mind. I don't care. Give me the IP address. I said that, no, it is not possible because load balancer is managed by AWS. How can I give the IP address? Because of this problem, they have hold the entire deal worth of crores. Right? Due to this glitch. So now, just imagine how much burden I'm facing. I was only one person. So now, after a lot of investigation, I got to know that. Do you remember in our starting days, I told what is the command to see the IP address of any application or any website? NS lookup. What is that? Remember NS lookup. I did NS lookup to my load balancer. Load balancer is a nasty URL, no? Whenever you create a DNS name will come, no? I put that NS lookup and that DNS name, I got the IP address. Areva. Then I said I was really happy and I gave this IP address to the customer. Customer said, thank you. So he took the IP address and then he has put that IP address in the firewall. It worked fantastically. Next day, again, the application stopped working. What is the reason? IP address got changed. IP address got changed. Then when I went and did NS lookup again IP got changed. Is it good to give the customers every day changed IP address? Again, the problem happened. So I got to know that load balancer will have the IP address. That IP address is static or dynamic? Dynamic. But they need static. But the AWS will provide static IP address to your load balancer. See, load balancer is nothing but, see, in the backend in AWS, this load balancer is completely managed by AWS. So do we need to worry about the performance of the load balancer? Do we need to worry about the scalability of the load balancer? No, it is just a service for us, correct? But ELB is nothing but the backend, they will be handling the machines only. For the load balancer, there will be machines only, no? Yes or no? There will be machines only. So automatically scale out and scale in will be happening on the load balancer level in the backend, correct? That is the reason why. Do we need to worry about those machines? No. So automatically so many machines are coming up and automatically machines will go down. In this scenario, is it possible to provide static IP address? Because machines will come just like that, machines will go just like that. It's not possible. So what I did was, I sent an email to AWS saying that, boss, see, this is a problem. So please help me. So what he did was, he bluntly said that we cannot give the IP address for the load balancer. It is not good. It's not recommended. So I said, no problem, give it to me. So when I did that, AWS has asked so many questionnaires to me. How many customers are connecting to your load balancer? How much is the traffic? At what time is the huge traffic you get? There's so many questions they asked. And finally, they has provided me 6 static IPs. How many? 6 static. 6 is not an, I'm just giving an example. How many? 6 static IPs. You know what happened? We need to compromise here. We need to compromise in the backend. So the scale out and the scaling will be happening within the 6 machines only. So that meaning your load balancer performance, what you're doing, you are decreasing the performance of the load balancer. Yes or no? Correct or no? So is it recommended to do that? That is the problem. The AWS saying we cannot give the static IPs because that has to be auto scale. But in this situation, I forced them to give it and they have given me the 6 IP. But the problem is you are decreasing the performance of the load balancer. So for that reason, I'm limiting the performance. That reason. So anyways, we have got that IP address and we have given it to the firewall to the customer. It started working. But I'm telling you, is it recommended to do this? You will get this kind of scenarios also in your companies. Please keep that in mind. But anyways, AWS has launched to resolve this issue. AWS came up with another feature that we'll be learning. Don't worry. Okay. So now ELB has the IP address. ELB has the IP address, but these IP addresses are, but these IPs are dynamic. Is it recommended to use the IP address? No. So AWS always recommend to use the ELB DNS name, not the IP address. Is it clear now? Getting it? Okay. Now let's go for now we have different types of load balancer. Types of load balancers. Very important. You will get certification questions also here. So initially, when AWS was new, AWS came up with the first load balancer called classic load balancer. What is that? In shortcut, you call it as CLB. So this CLB is very nice load balancer, which work on HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP. Obviously, no? HTTP and HTTP. Did we discuss about OSL layers in our starting days? No, right? No problem. Do you know what is OSL layers? We have 7 layers, no? In our academics, you might have learned. Come from bottom: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, application layer, presentation layer. Oh, very good. I also remember, right? So you have these layers, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and layer 5, layer 6, and layer 7. So now, so this load balancer, we have HTTP, it supports HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP. Guys, this has now considered as previous generation load balancer. What is that? This is previous generation. Now AWS came up with the, now, excuse me. Now AWS came up with the another 2 new load balancers, which is called application load balancer. Application load balancer. And then we have one more called network load balancer. Application load balancer, network load balancer. And finally, we have another one, which is latestly launched, gateway load balancer. In shortcut, this is called ALB, NLB, CLB, and GLB. So please fix in your mind, what are the different types of load balancers are there? 4. What are those? Application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, and then gateway load balancer. So which one we should not use anymore? Classic load balancer, because that is a previous generation load balancer which is not used. So guys, here there will be a certification question here. This application load balancer works on layer 7. What is layer 7? Application layer. What is that? Application layer. No, layer 7 is that? No. You no need to learn these 7 layers. No need. So your application load balancer works on application layer. Now this network load balancer works on layer 4. What is layer 4? Network. You know to remember, simple. Application load balancer works on which layer? Application layer. Network load balancer works on which layer? Network layer only. Okay, na? So this application load balancer, guys, this is the latest generation. Which one is that? All these are all latest generation. This is the latest generation. This is also a latest generation. And this is also a latest generation. Whenever you are going and setting up, guys, whenever you're going and setting up the application, which is the default load balancer that everyone will choose is application load balancer only. Which one is the default load balancer? Application load balancer. So default choose is ALB only. So maximum 95% people will go with which load balancer? Application load balancer only. And because this works on HTTP and HTTPS. In DevOps, you have microservices only, Docker, Kubernetes and all. If you don't know, that's fine, no issues. So for that also, this is the best for microservices. Best for microservices. Understood? Application load balancer. So coming to the network load balancer, the name itself is clearly saying this load balancer is used for where did you use? In networking we use. Not for the application, not for the websites we use. We use for the networking in the backends. Like, if AWS want to send a huge network, right? If you want to balance the network in the backend. So in that case, you need to go for it. So guys, this will works on which protocol? TCP and UDP. Which one? Certification questions, guys. So your network load balancer, which work on which protocol? TCP and UDP. What is TCP? Transmission Control Protocol. What is UDP? User Datacom Protocol. So don't worry about all these things. Just keep that in mind. It is TCP and UDP. So when to use this network load balancer? Guys, if we need to have extreme high performance. So if you need to have extreme high performance, which load balancer that you should choose? Network load balancer. Because it works at the network level in the backend. And by the way, this is the only load balancer which provides static IP, guys. Which is a load balancer which provides static IP? Yes. It provide one static IP per availability zone. It will provide. You can use this for any kind of requirement. Very powerful certification questions, guys, here. So whatever I have written, the differences here, it's very important. So coming to the gateway load balancer, which is not that important in the solution architect, but keep that in mind. This will works on layer 3 also. Works on layer 3. What is layer 3? Okay. Session layer. Okay. So it works on this, whichever layer it is. It is network layer, not session layer. Whichever is this? Network layer. You confuse me also. Don't ask me to teach OSI layers now. Huh? Network layer, ma. Right? So our network load balancer works on transport layer. Excuse me for that. Okay. So this gateway load balancer works on layer 3. Please keep this in mind. Okay. Application load balancer works on which layer? Layer 7. Application load balancer. Layer 7. Network load balancer. Layer 4. And gateway load balancer. So this gateway load balancer, you don't need to put any effort here but I'll just tell you, it is used to deploy, manage, and scale a fleet of third-party tools, third-party network virtual appliances in AWS. So, guys, if you want to set up, Chiti, if you want to set up any kind of firewalls, any prevention systems, and then etc. Basically, if you want to set up all these things, then you need to go for the gateway load balancer, and it uses a protocol called Geneve protocol on 6081. So please keep this in mind. Let me help you to understand, to remember. Okay, please. How many types of load balancers are there? How many are there? 4 load balancers are there. What are those? Number 1, application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer. Okay, ma. So now, which load balancer will we never use? Classic load balancer, because that is a previous generation. Anyways, classic load balancer works on which protocol? HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP. Which is the default choose load balancer? Application load balancer. Is it a latest generation? Yes, it is. So which kind of, what is the protocol that it uses? HTTP and HTTPS. So application load balancer works on which layer? Layer 7. Good. So I want to set up some microservices, Docker, Kubernetes, and all. Which load balancer would you recommend? Application load balancer. And which is the load balancer which supports static IP address? Network load balancer. And which is the load balancer if I want to have an extreme high performance? So network load balancer. And network load balancer works on which protocol? Which protocol? TCP and then UDP. And which layer? Layer 4. And then I want to set up some firewalls, some hacking protection prevention systems and all. Gateway load balancer. Which protocol that is used? Geneve. Geneve. Which protocol it uses? Geneve. What is that? Geneve. Clear? Okay now? Okay. So now you tell me which load balancer that we should more concentrate on. Application load balance. So let us talk more little bit on. So it has something called routing features. What does it has? Routing features it has. So it has host-based routing. There are so many, but I'm listing important. Host-based routing, path-based routing, and then string parameter routing. Host-based routing, path-based routing, and string parameter routing. So let us learn about these three things now. Very easy. Is it clear before I go to the next thing? Is it clear, ma? Okay. So now I'll tell you the problem and then I'll tell you the solution. Let me tell the problem first. Now I want to set up, I'm setting up, let's say, I'm setting up a load balancer. Sitting here. And the application that I need to set up is http:// give me some name. Huh? Divya. DIVYA. Correct? Okay. So now, divya.com. Okay. Now we need to have an application called divya.com. So now to set up this, what I do, I'll go and set up my application. I need to go and set up my load balancer. Yes. So I need to put my application here. What does this application contain? Divya.com only, no? Yes or no? Divya.com application we need. So put little water. So I put here divya.com. divya.com. Okay, ma? Okay. Now tell me, we have divya.com, correct? Is it only divya.com? Can we also have something called web.divya.com? Can we have like this also? Yes. Can we have admin.divya.com? These are all, what all this called? These are called subdomains, correct? The main domain is divya.com. Can we have subdomains also? Yes. Like how we have google.com. Similarly, images.google.com, photos.google.com, maps.google.com, correct? Yes. Now, in order to have web.divya.com, can you tell me, can I use the same load balancer? Now you only tell me. So now, should I go ahead and put like this? Web.divya.com. Should I do it like this? Yes or no? No, right? So, but if you do that, the first one, what is in high availability? There are three things: redundancy, monitoring, and failure. RMF. The first R is failing here. Is it redundancy there? No, because you have different applications. Is it possible to have? No. So for that, in order to set up this, what I need to do? I need to create one more load balancer. Yes, I need to create one more load balancer and set up web.divya.com here. Correct? Yes, I need to set up web.divya.com here. I need to go and set up web.divya.com here. Now, Chitti, for each and every requirement, for admin.divya.com, I need to create one more load balancer. Yes. For something called a.divya.com, one more load balancer. b.divya.com, one more load balancer. So for each and every subdomain, I'm going and creating a new load balancer. Is it recommended to create so many load balancers like this? This was the problem with the CLB. That's why we are not using CLB at all. This is the problem with CLB. So if you have like this, you need to have multiple ELBs with the CLB, correct? You need to have multiple load balancer with the CLB only, correct? Okay. For this reason, classic load balancer we should not be using. That has been now to the previous generation. Now we will be using which load balancer? Application load balancer. So let us see how application load balancer will work with this kind of requirements. So this is ALB. application load balancer. So in application load balancer, what do we do is we create rules. We create rules. Now, if someone is coming with http://divya.com, if someone is coming with divya.com, so we need to have divya.com application backend EC2 instances. Yes, so I have EC2 instances. One, two. So what does this? These are EC2 only, no, guys. So, but see, we have divya.com here. Application, divya.com application, divya.com. As I'm putting rectangular box doesn't mean that it is not EC2. Huh? This is EC2. Okay. So when someone is requesting for divya.com, this load balancer has to send to this EC2 instance, right? Here we have something called target group. What do you have? Target group. So this is the target group. What does the target group contain? EC2 instance only, no? Here can I call target is nothing but EC2 instance? Yes. Can I call this target group as Divya TG? Divya target group? Yes. So if someone is coming for a divya.com website, our load balancer will distribute to this target group. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Now someone is coming from http://web.divya.com. Someone is coming with web.divya. So load balancer will take it. This load balancer will take it. This load balancer will take it. So now for this also we need to have another target group. Yes, the power of this is it will provide multiple target groups. So I can have multiple target groups with multiple EC2 instances. Web dot what is that? Divya. So now I'll go in. So this load balancer will be sending the traffic to this. So this is also another target group. Yes. So can I create a rules and send it to different target groups? Yes. This is also what. But this what target group? Can I call it as web Divya target group? Divya TG. Yes. So guys, if someone is coming from divya.com, the load balancer will take it and then it will be redirect to the target group. Yes or no? Redirect to TG. And if someone is coming from web.divya.com, it will come here and will redirect to target TG. Target redirect to TG. So can I call it as host based routing? If there is any change in the host name, divya.com, web.divya.com, can you create a rule like host based routing and redirect to different target groups here? Yes. So now let me give an example. http://divya.com. Sometimes you will have some like this also, no? Like admin page. Developers, you will be having like this also, no? URL sometimes. Yes or no? At the end, you have a path. At the end, you have a path. Yes or no? You will be having a path like this. So at this time, so can you create path-based routing here? Yes. Path-based routing you can create. So if someone is requesting for /admin, so can I create another target group for /admin website application? Yes. So here we have /admin requirement. /admin application will be there. So this is also a target group here. Yes, this is also a target. What target group? Admin TG. You can give any name, admin TG or whichever. Admin TG. So can I send like this? And also, sometimes can you be like this also? http://dvr.com/ let's say for example, course is equal to AWS. Can I send a string like this also in URL? Yeah, you can create a string like this, and if you need like if you want to pass the parameters like this also, load excuse me, load balancer will take that request and redirect to the particular target group. Can we create multiple target groups there? Yes. So now the work, see how many different websites we have, and based on that, how many load balancers we have now? Only one load balancer. One load balancer can be handled all these requirements. Only one load balancer can easily handle it. That is the power of application load balancer. So this is the application load balancer. Will always, most of the people will do it, and we'll be concentrating more on application load balancer. If you create one load balancer, rest of the load balancer are same. Understood? Clearer? Difference, different types of load balancer, etc. Any questions? Let us stop it here. So take the screenshots and let me know once done, so that I'll change the slides. Yes, it is still available in AWS. Anytime they will remove it, Apurva. Screenshot is done. Okay, next. Load balancer and ELB, we use both in real time. Hoy, Jagdish, guys, ELB, LB, both are different. Both are same. Okay, so, and if you want this, you can take it. Otherwise, no, not required. This Picasso diagram. And go for this finally. Done now? Very good. Okay, can you give the final CC for today? Yes, Ayan, some ships has, every ship will have a different networks, different types of firewalls. One firewall will support adding DNS, one firewall will support adding IP address, different types of firewalls. Good. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the next important topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and good night.